Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. The people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants. The vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
At the end of my video yesterday, I referenced a profound quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that felt fitting for the events that cast a shadow on his day of remembrance. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. But I will say I wasn't expecting such a profound example of this day 2 into Trump's presidency, let alone have words akin to Dr. King's sentiment be said directly to Donald Trump as the world watches also. I'm sure by now the name Bishop Mariann Edgar Budde will undergo some extensive suppression on X and Facebook as oligarchs bind together to prevent anything disparaging being said about their cult leader, but not here. Take a look at this remarkable moment during this morning's prayer breakfast in which President Donald Trump and Vice President Vance and their families were forced to sit in silence as Bishop Mariann Edgar Budde pleaded with them to lean on their better angels and not follow through blindly with their depraved campaign promises that target the LGBTQ+ community and immigrants. When I say I've never seen anything like this, it's not hyperbole. I assure you it is worth listening to every single second.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
Now this comes as Trump on day 1, after being sworn in at an inauguration that forced Republican leaders to perform next-level verbal gymnastics to assure the American people certain gestures weren't akin to those found in the Third Reich.
Elon Musk did not do those salutes. I was not at the rally, but I can tell you I've been at many rallies with Elon Musk, who loves to cheer when President Trump says we need to send, our U.S. space program to Mars. Elon Musk is a visionary. I'm looking forward to his work in DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and look forward to looking how we can be more efficient and effective. But that is simply not the case. And to say so is the American people are smart. They see through it. They support support Elon Musk. We are proud to be the country of such successful entrepreneurs. That is one of our greatest strengths as Americans.
So let me share with you what a few Americans have said about it. Evan Kilgore, a right-wing political commentator, wrote on X, "Holy crap, did Elon Musk just Heil Hitler at the Trump inauguration rally? This is incredible. We are so back." Andrew Torba, who's the founder of the right-wing Christian nationalist social platform Gab, said incredible things are happening as he amplified the visual. The Proud Boys chapter in Ohio posted the clip on a Telegram channel with the text "Heil Trump." A chapter of the white nationalist group White Lives Matter posted it on Telegram. "Thanks for hearing us, Elon. The white flame will rise again." I could keep going. Over and over last night, white supremacist groups and neo-Nazi groups in this country rallied around that visual.
No,
Well, he was swift to sign several executive orders that curtails protections around diversity and LGBTQ rights. Trump immediately ordered on Monday that the United States will recognize only two sexes, male and female, that are unchangeable as he moved to quickly end a range of policies aimed at promoting racial equity and rights for the LGBTQ+ community. The order requires the government use the term sex rather than gender, while mandating that identification documents issued by the government, including passports and visas, be based on what it described as, quote, an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female.
President Donald Trump announced plans to sign an executive order declaring there are only two genders, male and female.
Saying as of today, this is the official policy of the United States government. Fox 25's David Chazanoff joins us live after speaking with some Oklahoma LGBTQ+ groups.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Applause in Washington, D.C., but back in Oklahoma, some people are disappointed.
Him enacting a two-gendered policy is just control and manipulation of the government.
Rural Oklahoma Pride co-founder Brian Paddock says to make matters worse, Oklahoma already has a law banning non-binary birth certificates, and the State Department of Health is banned from amending birth certificates.
Oklahoma is always in the bottom when it comes to progressive movements. And it's not just progressive movements that we're in the bottom. We're in the bottom of pay. We're in the bottom of education. We're in the bottom of a happy lifestyle.
This fulfilling campaign promises to roll back policies put in place by the Biden administration, which prioritized implementing diversity measures across the federal government. Trump repealed a total of 78 executive orders signed by Joe Biden, including at least a dozen measures supporting racial equity and combating discrimination against gay and transgender people. And as expected, this was followed by a series of sweeping immigration executive actions that included declaring a national emergency at the US southern border, immediately ending use of a border app called CBP, and it kicked off the process to end birthright citizenship, which is expected to be met with legal pushback. But nonetheless, when the man is removing Spanish language content on the official White House website, I think his intentions couldn't be more clear.
I mean, look, I think Donald Trump is, by pushing policies like this, are just trying to eliminate his honeymoon period completely, because this is just not a popular policy. End birthright citizenship for children born to immigrants illegally here. Look at this. Just 35% support. The clear majority, 53% oppose. And I've looked at multiple polls, looked at the question, asked multiple different ways. If anything, this undersells the opposition by a little bit. If you don't, in fact, mention for children born to immigrants here legally and just ask about ending birthright citizenship, the opposition shoots all the way up to about 70%. So, but this 53% is clearly indicative of a country that does not want to end birthright citizenship. Simply put, this is not a popular policy, and if Donald Trump pushes policies like this, his honeymoon period will squeeze and be even shorter than it was back in 2017.
Okay, have opinions changed over the years on this?
Yeah, so look, they've asked this question numerous times. Remember, this is not some new policy idea. Republicans were pushing this during the anti-immigration, era that was in the early 2010s. And look here, support ending birthright citizenship. In 2011, it was 35%. In 2015, it was 31%. In 2025, it was 35%, or it is 35%. You don't really see consistency like this across many poll questions, but you see it here. Consistently, The percentage of Americans who support ending birthright citizenship is only about a third of the country, and it simply put, Sarah Seidner, has not moved no matter which politicians get in. The 35% we see now is most likely going to be the 35% we see a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the line.
It hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot.
No.
Speaking of politicians, what about by party? What are you seeing there?
Yeah, so you might expect that Republicans would overwhelmingly support this. Now, the majority do support ending birthright citizenship, but it's only 56%.
And this is what makes this brave act of dissent even more courageous, right? Because it puts her directly in the line of fire, across from someone who has made it clearer than ever that he intends to use his position in office to grind that axe that he so desperately wants to wield. So in conclusion, I think we can all learn a thing or two from Bishop Mariann as we set out to fight for our freedoms over the next 4 years.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.